Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Apyayantu mamangani Vakpranaschakshushrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaste Mayi Santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shraddhatsva, this one word we are looking at. Still a few things more to be said about that. Shraddhatsva means what? Cultivate Shraddha. And Shraddha is often talked about as, often translated as faith, have faith. But here we have to be very clear, because the word faith, like the word God, is overused. And it means different things to different people. And sometimes the religion itself is called faith. Faith tradition, faiths. And the Hindu Dharma is not faith, really. And because in the Hindu tradition, that which is to be, that which is the ultimate goal of the tradition is to be achieved here and now in this life itself. We do have afterlife. We do have, many different afterlife realms, 7 up and 7 down, 7 planes of existence. Up means in terms of comfort. 7 planes of existence that are as good or better than this that we have here, that we share on earth. And then 7 other planes of existence which are based on papa, which are based on unrighteous conduct, where one goes to exhaust some difficulties accrued by going against dharma. So one may argue that all this is based on faith only, all this is a belief. Yes, it is a non-verifiable, not only is it a belief, it's a non-verifiable belief. It is a belief beyond logic. Beyond logic means what? It's not available for anumana or arthapatti. It is not available for those 2 means of knowledges called inference, one-step inference, multi-step inference. So therefore what? It is out of bounds of this pramana. So if we use logic, it's not going to work. It's just like saying, I'm going to watch this flower. My eyes are not working very well. I'm going to look at this flower with the help of my ear. So if I keep the flower to the ear, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Will I come to know of the shape and the form of the flower or the color of the flower? Not at all. So that is how the means of knowledge operate. They operate by being a king in its own right. One means of knowledge cannot contradict the other because the subject matter for one means of knowledge is its own subject matter. It cannot be the subject matter of the other. And so, like this is beyond inference, beyond logic. And you can say, yes, this is the subject matter of the first portion of the Veda, where also Shraddha is needed. And there it's a Shraddha, which is without explanation because it is beyond logic. Beyond logic, that one will survive death. Beyond logic, how? It's non-verifiable. And then that after having survived death, one will have a visa to go to many, many different places. That's also what? Beyond logic. And then having gone to those places, I will like those places. That's also beyond logic. Beyond logic is not a problem because there will be some other pramana to allow us to go there. Some other pramana is there that tells us that this is what happens, and we just take that. We don't try to contradict that pramana, Shabda pramana, the words of the Veda, with our own logic. But if we are told that after life, wherever I go, that is the permanent place, and that is a wonderful place of limitless joy, limitless existence, sorrow-free, fear-free existence. It no longer is beyond logic. What is it now? Against logic. Think about it. Because if there is something called limitless, it cannot have a location. If it has a location, it cannot be forever. Absolutely not. We also have the concept of Svarga, heaven. We also say that you go there. And there are many, many types of heavens, depending on one's beliefs here. So you are a Shiva devotee. What kind of a heaven will you go to? Yeah. Shivaloka, Kailasa, many, many names are there. Yeah. You can't pack a sweater, but it'll be cold there. Yeah, it's all just in the snowy mountains. Imagination. If you're a Vishnu aficionado, where will you go? Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means you don't understand why is there Kuntha. Meaning Kuntha means pain, sorrow, non-understanding, all these things, because it's a place of joy. So, and we have many other kinds of svargas, many other delights, different lokas are there, Pitralokas. Pitralokas means the world of the mains, the ancestors who are there to greet you. Oh, you are great-great-great-great-grandmother? Cool! You can go there and say. And so it's like that. You can just go there and have a good time and do all these things. But then, wherever you go, what happens? Vapas aayega, has to come back. Because if this world, if this location is finite, then other locations will also be what? Finite. The same laws have to operate. You can't have one law operating for some place called heaven. Maybe there is some differences, but really the same thing has to operate. And this very Upanishad tells us, Yad yatha iha karmachito lokaha kshiyate tat tatha amutra punyachito lokaha api kshiyate eva. Kshiyate, exhausts, comes to an end. What comes to an end here? So here what happens? You have accrued a lot of karma and karma phala. And then when that karma phala is exhausted, at some point the karma phala is exhausted, correct? That's why then you get up and do new karma. 5 days of work, as I said, 2 days of holiday. Then Monday morning what happens? Back to work. So what happened to the holiday? That has got apakshaya. The holiday is over. Whatever you were entitled to after that 1 week work, the 2 days off is done, finished. Then again 5 more days of work, 2 more days, done. And so like this, every action which accrues here or translates into punya here, what happens, or even papa, even wrong action has there's how much suffering. After a little while, the pain, the suffering and all finishes. That particular karma is over. The discomfort which that karma gave is done with. And then, yad yatha iha loke, just as in this world, what happens? Karmachitaha lokaha. So this loka, this world of activity, this world where everybody is what? Busy. Either busy with your own business or busy poking the nose in other people's business. But still busy. Very, very busy. No time. No time for leisure. So, in this, karmachitaha lokaha. And then this is, and this word karmachitaha lokaha, it has an abiding presence in the Upanishads. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also it is there. I could not find the citation this morning. But then in the Mundaka Upanishad also it is there. Parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedam ayat. So this whole loka, where I enjoy some and where I have some discomfort, this mishra loka of papa and punya is what? Karma chita. Chita means collected. Ching chayane. To collect. So this loka, where I have little bit of punya, lot of papa, this loka is what? Is gained by my own karma. And lost again when the karma exhausts itself. And that is what causes the death of the body. The body which came with a particular karma called prak arabdham karma is gone, exhausted. Okay? And that's why the kshaya has taken place, karma kshaya has taken place of prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means the karma which gave rise to this particular body in this iteration, in this lifetime. It's like you have been sent with a suitcase, a full suitcase. Snacks? Oh yeah, well, things you have to eat, things you have to endure, undergo. Some snacks are very nice, but occasionally there is a bag of bad peanuts. Not just one bad peanut, but then you eat the whole thing and each peanut is bad. And the suitcase keeps opening itself. Combination lock. And who has the combination? Gupta ji. Who is Gupta ji? Chitragupta, who keeps accounts. Even today, people who are named Gupta in India come from a lineage of accountants. Yeah? Shopkeepers, accountants and all. Gupta means hidden. Yeah, nobody else should know what is happening. In fact, this Chitragupta, Bhagavan, the iteration, the manifestation of Bhagavan in the form of the giver of karma phala, is so secretive that he keeps your own karma secret from you. That is the Gupta. You don't know what's in this bank account. The heavy suitcase, the full suitcase that the baby was born with gets lighter and lighter and lighter and is empty at the time of death. So this is what is called Punya Kshaya, Papa Kshaya, Karma Kshaya. Correct? Yeah. And so, this Vakya which we are analyzing says that even in other lokas, the same law has to apply. That is when there is a universal rule. One rule here, one rule there, that is not correct. That is again against logic. So what is this rule? Yadyatha iha karmachitaha lokaha kshiyate. Just like the world of Papa and Punya comes to an end, collected by my own karma, tat tatha, and then after I have departed from this world, where do I go? Punyachitan lokan. Punyachitan lokan. So what do I do there? I just enjoy. These are worlds made up of punya. And the currency there, Pujya Swamiji would always talk about that, the currency there is what? Your own punya. You have to pay for it, it's not free. Every Gandharva music concert, every Urvashi Menaka dance duet, you have to pay. Oh, where is the ticket? Don't worry. It's automatically deducted from your batch of punya which has taken you to this world in the first place. It has taken you to this world. And then after that, what happens? After that, some kind of a trap door opens, and then kshine punye martyalokam dhadamiti vishanti. Emphasis added. Kshine punye, when the punya exhausts itself, one is booted out of that loka. Wait, I was in the middle of the concert. No. You're done, sorry. That much only you could enjoy. No wonder every newborn baby cries. Maybe it was in the middle of a concert. Who knows? That's just imagination. But anyhow, so it has to be the same law. And that's why we don't call it Hindu faith. Other people may call it faith. This is not faith. There is a law there. There is a law there, and yes, there are many things beyond logic, the realm of death, the realm of afterlife, who goes where, when, why, how long do they stay, how many rebirths are there. All these things are beyond logic. We don't know. Many unknowns are there. But still, we take solace in the fact that there is a universal law. The same law that applies here, same law applies there also. So the Shraddha towards the first portion of the Veda, Karma Kanda, is for things that we are not able to understand through the operation of logic. Beyond logic. Adi Shankara himself says, if something in the Shruti is against logic, please do not take that as the truth. Because why? Your own pramana, pratyaksha pramana or anumana is telling you that's not correct. For example, cold fire. He gives this example. Even if 1,000 primary works called the Shruti, revealed knowledge in the form of the Shruti, comes and tells you what? Fire is cold. Don't say, I have Shraddha. So therefore what? I will give the fire a hug. Yeah. No, that cannot happen. Even if 1,000 Shrutis come and tell, cobra, the kind of snake, does not cause, does not have venom, we can't believe that. Because it is against our direct perception, against logic. And so one pramana must never put the other pramana down. Because what the pramana does, each pramana is anadhigatam. Anadhigatam means it reveals something which no other means of knowledge can reveal. And if the Shruti forays into the realm of pratyaksha and anumana and tells us fire is cold, don't believe it. Adi Shankara himself says, don't believe it. So the Shraddha towards the first portion of the Veda again makes Veda into a pramana, because many things I come to know which I would not have known if I had not studied the Veda. Because the first portion of the Veda is full of means and ends. Unknown means, known ends. Swarga is kind of known, and the means to gain it are unknown. Swarga kamaha somena yajeta. Soma is unknown. In fact, the poor plant was pressed out of existence because it was used for so many heaven-goers. So many heaven-goers must have used it, it is extinct. Even though they say, oh, this is Soma, that is Soma, we don't know the original Soma, what it was. And sometimes the means are, the means are known, the end is not known, the end is known, means are not known. Like this, it is all based on Shraddha. If I do this yajna, I will have this kind of an outcome. It is all based on Shraddha. And when that outcome comes, you will say, oh, okay, this has helped. But you never know really if it has helped or not, or if it would have happened anyway, we don't know. So the Shraddha towards that one is asked to have for the first portion of the Veda is completely different than the Shraddha that one has to have for the message of Vedanta, the second portion of the Veda. And what is the Shraddha here? Trust. The trust that I will know. The trust that I will understand. The trust that that same road by which the teacher has traveled, and how did the teacher know to travel that road? He or she was led by his or her teacher, who was led by her teacher, who was led by his teacher, all the way to what? Sadashiva Samarambham, that tradition which started with Bhagavan. How do you know it started with Bhagavan? How do you know? You have a great grandmother. That is my question. How do you know? Because I'm here. You can say that. I'm here, so she must have been there. In fact, there is even a name for the matriarch. They found some old, matriarch's remains, and it is now assumed that there are 5 lineages from which all human beings have come. Lucy, they named this great ancestress. And then even if we did not find the remains of this Lucy, we know that she existed, correct? We know that she existed. Why? Because I'm here. And so too, I'm here, and so too here, same thing. You are here. That's why this parampara is continuing. You are an integral part of this parampara that started with Bhagavan, because everything starts with Bhagavan. Who is the first mother? Bhagavan. Who is the first father? Bhagavan. And therefore, who is the first teacher? Bhagavan. Everything comes from Bhagavan. And here is where the Shraddha has to be there. Because locally not available. And then secondly, what else do we know? We also know that we cannot do anything. Everything is already given. We don't come to a world where we have to manufacture oxygen in order to take the first breath. Oxygen already there. Oxygen needed, oxygen already there. The newborn baby, just before it is being born, doesn't say, oh, here I was nicely breathing through the umbilical cord and being nourished. There I need oxygen. I don't know if it will be there or not. Maybe I should order a tank, oxygen tank. Not necessary. I'll need food. What shall I do? Milk delivery I should arrange. No. All there. And Adi Shankara also talks about how the little animals which we see in the cow shed and in the barns and in these petting zoos and sanctuaries, you see the animal get up, take a few steps without GPS, find the mother's milk. Gets itself latched on to the breast because it knows, without this I cannot walk. I cannot grow up, I know this. How does it know this? Adi Shankara says it is Purva Vasana, previous experience, previous memory, previous desire for survival. All these things are getting activated. Yes, they are my own memories, but who is activating them at that correct time of my birth? To go to the mother's milk, who is activating them? It's not me. I don't even know where I have come. Like I said, I was enjoying Urvashi concert. Suddenly I am here now. I don't know who I am. I don't know who the mother is. I don't know who the father is. I don't even know what is hunger. I don't know anything. I just know that as a baby, let's say, I'm feeling extremely uncomfortable and some relief is needed. That's all I know. That's all any baby animal also knows. It cannot say, oh, this is hunger. No, it doesn't. That vocabulary is not there. Either for a human being or, of course, for animals, that vocabulary is not there. It can just open its mouth and cry, but it doesn't just sit and cry. It goes to the mother's milk. How? There is a law. Obviously, there is a law that is operating. For every uncultivated desire, there is a solution here and now. And so, what are the uncultivated desires? What are they? Food. Food is, I didn't ask to be hungry. Food is there. That's an uncultivated desire. And I want Mexican food. That's what? Cultivated or uncultivated? That's cultivated. I want this kind of food only. That is a cultivated desire. Yeah. Cultivated by what? The 3-inch long thing that is called tongue. This 3-inch long tongue. For this 3-inch long tongue, the whole cuisine world, Michelin stars, all these things, Yeah, the more the Michelin stars, the smaller the portions. Yeah. You go and then, they'll give this big plate. Inside that one artichoke heart, which is mostly fiber, okay? There's nothing there. And then 3 drops of vinegar, balsamic vinegar, drop, drop, drop. And then on this side, a kind of a little paste of something, artistically made like that. Abstract art. One sprig of mint leaves, that has conquered the whole dish. It has planted itself right in the center. Enjoy. For what? Just these 3 inches of the tongue. All kinds of cuisines. Everything. What is that? Mexican, Italian, Vietnamese, and not just Indian. South Indian, North Indian, East Indian, West Indian. What else is left? So many things. Sri Lankan cuisine, everything, the whole thing is just for 3 inches. Because beyond that, one may as well be on a feeding tube. The restaurant industry is literally, what? Dancing on the jihva. That's what it is. So, therefore, this whole world, which is here and which has a certain connection to this person. Who is this person? Knower, pramata, hearer, thinker, manta, shrota. And so the second portion of the Veda, what does it do? What it does is also based on Shabda Pramana. Same thing, same rule there also. There also it is Shabda Pramana, where in the first portion of the Veda, Shraddha is called for, because I don't know anything. I don't know that this particular ritual will give me riches. I don't know that until I actually do it, until I learn to do it. And also here, the subject matter of the second portion of the Veda is the content of the knower. The content of the knower. And the truth of the knower, which is the same as the truth of the hearer, thinker, seer, etc. And so, the whole world of food given. Food is needed. Food is given. Air is needed. Air is given. What else is needed? Shelter is needed. Clothes are needed. The ability to spin clothes, the ability even for the caveman, cavewoman to just shave off a bark of a tree and wrap it for, against the rain and all these things, given. The buddhi to stitch clothes, given. The buddhi to cook, given. Everything is given. Given, 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 given. And the first portion of the Veda adores that giver as Bhagavan, Ishvara. The first portion of the Veda connects this lackluster person, the jiva, who is what? Bereft, alone, alienated. Connects this jiva to Bhagavan through an intricate set of rituals, prayers. In fact, prayer is an entire lifestyle itself. The whole lifestyle is prayer. Morning to night it is just prayer. Everything is a prayer because it is prayerfully done. In awareness of that which is not known, not locally available. Called Tat because not locally available. That reality, that Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan, the first portion of the Veda, feeds us the language and feeds us with the wherewithal to get connected to this Bhagavan through prayer. Rituals. This is the first level of entering the Veda with Shraddha, because I don't know. I don't know who I am praying to. Indra, okay, fine. Where is this Indra? I don't know. Where is this Vayu? Vayu I know, but then I have to see Vayu as Bhagavan. That I don't know. But here is Vayu, and there is a certain dependence on Vayu. Okay, I can bend my mind around it, and then be in a place of worshipfulness. So the whole life of a Vaidika, the one that is committed to the Veda, is what? One of worship. It starts first thing in the morning. Udite juhoti. As soon as you wake up, what do? Yeah, you take one chamas. Chamas means chammach, the ritual spoon, and offer into the fire. Oh, udite means as the sun rises, you're supposed to offer. Is there another option? That's too early. Yes, there is an option. What is that? Oh, goody. Let me take notes. What is that? Anudite juhoti. You can do it before sunrise. Either at sunrise you offer, or before sunrise you offer. This is how you start the day. You start the day adoring Bhagavan that you yet do not know. But there is Asti Brahma iti Shraddha is there. Asti Brahma. Asti Bhagavan. And this Bhagavan, we are told, is manifest in many, many names, many, many forms, many, many lokas. So many forms and names are there. And so this Bhagavan we can adore. And here is where the conceptualization of that which is Ishvara, the Creator, is extremely sophisticated. Fully and, totally sophisticated. Very sophisticated Ishvara is presented as Devi, as Indra, as Vayu, as so many things. All one. Ekameva. All one alone, and then that one, again, without a second, we know that one without a second is just presented completely in many forms, many ways, many functions, so that it is a very sophisticated presentation of Bhagavan. And also what is told is all that is here is Bhagavan alone. Where is it told? Ishavasya Upanishadi. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also. Ishavasya is a case in point because it is not at the end of the Veda. It is in the Samhita portion in the middle itself, so that you can't escape this. It is put in the middle so that this fact is inescapable. That the giver is already here. In fact, the giver is not separate from that which is given. Ishavasyam idagam sarvam. Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Whatever is here is Bhagavan. This is what we are told. Here is Bhagavan, there is Bhagavan, everywhere Bhagavan, Bhagavan. Old Mac Jiva had a problem. This is of alienation. And what do you have to see? There is Bhagavan everywhere. And this is something people who have never studied Veda or Vedanta know in India. They know this. Go to a rural area somewhere and you ask them, where is Bhagavan? They will look at you up and down. Where did you come from? They will ask. Where is Bhagavan? Not. This everybody knows. Everybody knows. And so the worship also takes on these many forms, even though the understanding may not be fully there. The worship is there. So people in India do not worship trees. What are they worshipping? Bhagavan in the form of the tree. They do not worship rivers. They are worshipping Bhagavati in the form of the river. And like this, all the temples are also like that. They are called different Jyotirlingas, different places. Each one has a Mahima. Each one has a Rahasya. Chidambaram is a case in point. And there is a secret. What is the secret? You go see there should be a Shiva temple, right? There should be a Shivalinga. Where? You will not find a Shivalinga. In the main sanctum, there is just a garland suspended with a nylon thread. Why? Space. How do I garland space? How to even begin garlanding space? How many yards of flower garland will I need? How many yards? How many people? How many women making that garland will be needed? Not possible. So therefore a small miserable garland is put as a upalakshana for space. Space is Bhagavan. Kala Hasti, time is Bhagavan. And yesterday there was a question in satsang also, Kali, Kala Bhairava. Time is Bhagavan, space is Bhagavan, everything is Bhagavan. This is already, you see, there is already a fair amount of preparation when one comes to the second portion of the Vedas, Vedanta, to understand the truth of oneself as Bhagavan is the logical next step. Logical next step. Where else will one go? That is where to go. Because if everything is Bhagavan, can I exclude myself from that everything? No. I can, but then it will be the case of the 10th man. Nashto Dashamaha. 10th man is destroyed. Who cried like that? The brahmachari who had appointed himself as the monitor of 9 other people who wanted to go out on an outing. He told the Guru, don't worry, I'll take them and safely bring them back. All 10 of us are going. They had to cross the river to go to the other side, and where there was a fair, and they had a wonderful time. And the responsible brahmachari, before they went back into the boat, said, let me just count all of you, let's make sure nobody is missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh! And the other brahmachari was slightly, what should I say, jealous of this one. You always come and show off, you're a big show off. Let me count. You must have failed mathematics in the last semester. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And very soon, after 3 or 4 of them counting, not the teacher's fault, they were all weak in mathematics, So, they were just like that, not terribly bright. And then, what happens? This being ancient India, there are always some sadhus walking around. One sadhu sees from a distance what is happening. By this time, they are all huddled together, mourning their missing friend. One said, oh, he was so fun-loving. Oh, we'll miss him. Other one said, he is a jolly good fellow. We will really miss him. Wonder where he went. Maybe he just toppled off the boat. He didn't even come on this side. Or maybe he's lost in the fair. Oh no, they were just blaming themselves, crying, having a group hug. Sadhu put an end to this drama and then said, shut up, stand in a line. And then he counted 10. Happily, they went away. And so, this is our problem. Leaving ourselves out. And leaving ourselves out, why? Duality. Duality is the name. I am separate from Ishvara. That has to be the starting point. Because Ishvara locally not available. Has to be the starting point. I am separate. And then Ishvara controls all the laws. All the things in the universe are controlled by Bhagavan. Controller is Bhagavan. Niyanta. Niyanta, that is Bhagavan. Controller is Bhagavan. And who am I? Controlled. And even the one who thinks of himself or herself as controlled is even though one is controlled, one feels, oh, I can do this, I can change the world, I can go here, I can go there, I can do this. And then very soon you find that there is a miti to everything, there is a limit. There is a limit. I keep on banging against obstacles. Hurdles are there. Obstacles are there. And then the Jiva laments. Who said there is Ishvara? There is no Ishvara. Because my prayers are not being answered. People come to me and tell me that. I said, no. Your prayers are being answered. The answer is no. Whatever you want, the answer is no. Or not yet. Not yet. Try again. Or change the channel, do something else. This is not in keeping with one's prarabdha. And so like this, the first portion of the Veda is a very valuable training ground for understanding Vedanta. In this generation, at this time, in contemporary times, we are all handicapped. Have we gone through the first portion of the Veda? Say no, so we can move on. Okay, there is nothing to think about here. Say no, we have not gone through the first portion of the Veda. And we have not understood how to relate to Ishvara. Even from the standpoint of duality, we have not understood what to talk of non-duality. And if it is a must for the person to have undergone the first portion of the Veda before studying Vedanta, what are we doing here? God only knows, we feel like saying. But still, there is a kind of an equivalent kind of preparation one would have had because of one's own education, because of one's own life experiences. Life experiences means what? Disappointment. Each one disappointment, another disappointment, third disappointment. And then after that I need an ointment, okay, to overcome all the disappointments. And not being able to, succumbing to those disappointments, not being able to surmount the disappointments, that is what has made the contemporary mumukshu jignasu ready for Vedanta Shravanam. That is what is there. And then one knows that because there are so many disappointments, first marriage didn't work, second marriage didn't work, third marriage also didn't work. So therefore, finally, after a few disappointments, one sees that there must be something here that I am not seeing. And what is it that I am not seeing? I am not seeing sadhana, sadhya, sambandha. The means and the goal are unaligned. And so what do I do? Because they are not aligned, either the goal is not clear or the goal is clear, but that these means will not lead to that goal is unclear. In either case, what am I doing? I am repeating the same actions and expecting a drastically different outcome. This is the definition of insanity. Yes. You repeat the same things, but you hope for a different outcome. Even the fox that is jumping at the grapes, jump, 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 just tantalizingly out of reach. What does it say? The grapes are sour. It gets vairagya. It tells itself, the grapes are not worth it. Even that goes away. But this tenacious jiva will continue to try this, that or the other all the time. And is in a place of frustration, is in a place of difficulty. So, enter Vedanta, or the person enters Vedanta. That is a much nicer way of saying, or much more authentic way of saying, because first the person has to enter Vedanta, and only much later Vedanta enters the person. So the person enters Vedanta, and then what? Starts to revel in the Shastra, because it's like falling into a nice waterfall after roaming around in the desert. That is the relief that Vedanta Vakya gives, because it is an antidote to one's own autobiography. A sad autobiography where each chapter is sadder than the other. Yeah, sad chapters. Chapter 1, why me? I'm the victim. Chapter 2, not fair. Chapter 3, those other people seem to be okay. Chapter 4, when will this end? Chapter 5, to be continued in the next life. Even though this is a universal autobiography that everybody has written, nobody likes this autobiography. That's why it's only published in the press of the mind. Yeah. What is the press of the mind? That which has depression, okay, yeah. In this oppressed, repressed mind, it is published alone. Nobody publishes this. Because nobody wants to read this. The writer himself, herself, rejects this autobiography as not only inauthentic, but just a total bunch of lies. And the entry into Vedanta is just a beautiful breath of fresh air, a cool shower after going through the desertified landscape of one's unfulfilled longings. And there, the authentic autobiography is given. What is that? Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. And then you are Sat Swarupa. You are Satchid Ananda. You are one with everything. You are not alone. You are free. You are whole. You are nothing other than this consciousness. This consciousness is just the entire world of names and forms, and you are this consciousness. You are none other than this Brahman. Up till here, it's okay. This is very nice, wonderful. Even the person can tolerate with a little difficulty Tvam Pada Vichara, an analysis into the word I. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. Sometimes it's a relief. Thank God I'm not this body. Thank God I'm not this mind. Thank God I'm not the extent of what I do. Thank God I'm not just the result of my actions. Thank God, thank God, thank God. It's all a relief. But then, when it comes to the same kind of analysis of the word Tat, called as Tat Pada Vichara, there are obstacles. There are obstacles. Why? Because this Ishvara that was not known, that is unknown, at best forgotten, and the pain surrounding the unfulfilled longings, and the status of Ishvara as Jagat Karta is not acceptable. It is pushed away somewhere. Tat is forgotten when we enter Vedanta, because Tat is replaced by consciousness. Tat is what? Satchidananda. I am this Tat. I am Satchidananda. And we have this swimmy experience of oneness. Everyone is happy and one goes away. This is not Vedanta. This is not the Mahavakya. The Mahavakya is equating not consciousness with the Jiva. The Mahavakya is equating the Jiva with who? Ishvara. This we have to understand. So therefore, there is no Nirishvara Vedanta. Not possible. Nirishvara Sankhya, possible. Sankhya is a darshana, which has two recensions, Saishvara Sankhya, Nirishvara Sankhya. This is not, Nirishvara Vedanta is not possible. Although it exists in the form of what is called Neo-Vedanta. It proliferates the world of YouTube and all these things. It's called Neo-Vedanta, and people who are of this particular, they have bought a subscription to this, are called what? Neo-Vedantins. They are not Vedantin, they are Vedant out, really, from our standpoint. Vedantin means understanding Ishvara. In the first portion of the Veda, one is primed to understand Ishvara. First, in the first portion of the Veda, one is told to accept this Ishvara without understanding, because one is still a baby in terms of one's own emotional growth. One doesn't understand why I have to do this, what I have to do, why I have to bow down, why I have to go and do this yajna. All this is not clear. But one does it anyway, and then there is a culmination to this in the form of emotional growth. And in the second portion of the Veda, the same Ishvara, which was a matter of belief, a matter of relief, a matter for worship, is now a matter for understanding. A very sophisticated understanding, where in the light of Vedanta Shastra, Ishvara is understood properly. We can go back and see what is there in the first portion of the Veda and understand Ishvara in the light of Vedanta. But there is no Vedanta without Ishvara. Vedanta without Ishvara is like saying, what? Pot without clay. No, I'll have a golden pot, pot without gold, pot without a substantive. Can you have that? No. So Vedanta is not Vedanta. And such people are not Vedantins. But yet, there is a draw for this kind of a study. This is what I want. I want there to be a swimmy feeling. I have no problem seeing this whole thing as Sat Chit Ananda. Here a Sat, there a Sat, everywhere Sat, Sat, no problem. But that Sat is what? Sadakhya Devata. There is a problem. That is what has to be resolved in order to understand the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi. Because this Tat Shabda Vachya, Tat Shabda Lakshya, we have to understand. And then only there is freedom from sorrow. Let us not forget why we are studying Vedanta. Why are we studying Vedanta? So that I can understand, not only I can be happy, I can understand that I am the source of all happiness. I am the source. Before I thought my happiness is sourced out to chocolate cake and to all these other things. So this jiva who was in search of outsourced happiness is told that you are the source. This is a huge thing. And so therefore, if Ishvara is not reckoned with, then the jnana phala in the form of what? In the form of freedom from bhaya, bhaya nivritti, shoka nivritti will not take place. It's a partial understanding. How can you have half understanding of that Brahman which is whole? How can you have half understanding of that which has no parts and which cannot be halved? Not possible. So one will be like Virochana, who I talked about yesterday, getting half of the understanding and going away and starting spouting off their own thing. And this new age Vedanta is basically, there are problems. Somehow they understand, I am one, I am God. They don't know what God is. They don't even know the word, what it means in the Vaidika sense. And then they say, I have to manifest. I have to manifest money. I have to manifest abundance. I have to manifest people who love me. Nothing happens. They only manifest more disappointment. That's all it is. And so here, the exposition of Ishvara as the subject matter to be understood, not a matter for belief. In many other theologies, it's a matter for belief. You have to believe that there is Bhagavan, and then that is enough for redemption. So, okay, that's fine. But in our tradition, Ishvara, the cream of what? The religion. The cream of the tradition is Ishvara, and that Ishvara is not a matter for belief, it is a matter for understanding as non-separate from oneself. So really we cannot take out Ishvara from the mix. Like you can have some dish and then you say, I don't eat this particular thing. I'm going to take that out and then I'm going to eat it. Here that is not possible. Even if you say, I can make it possible, then the person themselves suffers. And so this Ishvara has to be understood in two ways. First, in the form of universal laws. And here we can use logic. Why? Because we see these laws are palpable. These laws can be studied. And whatever can be studied is predictable. Whatever is predictable is called a law. Whatever is a law is infallible. Therefore we say, that which is infallible is Bhagavan. Don't say it the other way. Don't say Ishvara is infallible. It is a subjective, pratibhasika based setup. Why? Because as long as my raga dveshas are being fulfilled, oh yes, God, oh yes, Ishvara, you are infallible. I wanted this person to not succeed, and this person did not succeed. Yay, yippee, Ishvara, you are infallible. Then one day what happens? The wheel of karma goes round and round. And it is your turn not to have success. It is your turn to feel down and out. And then what? The infallible Ishvara, what happens to this Ishvara? Fallible, because you didn't give me what I want. Instead, we have to make this statement, do a headstand, Shirashasana. And then what do you say? That which is infallible is Bhagavan. This is knowledge. Ishvara is infallible, is a subjective idealism, is a spiritual romanticism. That which is infallible is Ishvara, is knowledge, objective understanding. Infallible means what? Beyond my ability to control, beyond my ability to change, at least right now. That is infallible. And each time the same, when you do something, each time the same outcome is there, it is expected. That is why an experiment can be repeated with the same kind of outcome. It's not that I have an experiment. What is the experiment? Simple experiment of boiling water. And what is the hypothesis? Water boils at 100 degrees. Okay. So then I put the water to boil. And then there is also a time. Depending on how much the water and how much the flame, you can estimate the time. And then what happens? Sometimes the water boils, sometimes the water does not boil. How are you going to lead your life if that were the case? This is infallible. Given these conditions, this is what is going to happen, is infallible. That's why there are infinite branches of knowledge, because they are all baby Ishvaras, baby manifestations of Ishvara, each one more special than the other. For us, Ishvara is not a guy in the sky. Not at all. It is immanent in the form of those very laws which we seek to understand, in which we live. This is just brilliant. Brilliant teaching in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita. And so, this Ishvara is in the form of various laws, all of which are predictable. Predictable means what? Stable, same outcome each time. If it is predictable, it is a portal to be studied. It's a doorway to understand Ishvara in the form of this particular law. This is amazing. That's why every scientist is in touch with Ishvara. We may see them as workaholics. Oh, they're just working all the time, they're crazy, and they just don't have a life. They don't have a life because they are one with Ishvara in being one with their subject matter. Einstein is a case in point. He was so intelligent, most of the time, nobody understood. Even his friend physicists, nobody understood what he was saying. But he needed an audience, like a sounding board. So he took to the habit of catching hold of the people in the street. His friends he would see, he would just catch hold of them. And in winter they wore these double-breasted big overcoats. So he would catch hold of a big button and talk, so that he would have a captive audience. The person would not go away. Once his friend, I forgot who the person was, had some things to do. Encountered Einstein in the square. Einstein said, "Oh, my dear fellow, you are exactly the person I wanted to see." Grabbed hold of his button. Started to talk. And this person said, "This is not happening." Took out a small blade from his pocket, cut off the button, and then did all his work, and then came back in the evening to find Einstein like that, several hours later. He must have taken his button and gone home. It's Ishvara, one with Ishvara. Every scientist, every scientist is a rishi. And the rishi has oneness with Ishvara. Each time you look deeply into the law, there is Bhagavan staring at you in the form of how that law operates, how universal it is. And one part of the law is known, many other parts of the law are what? Magic. They are not known. They are yet to be known. So each time I go deeply into this law, each time I go to see, what is this thing actually? Is it a wave? Is it a particle? What is this? Each time I go deeply, and what am I in touch with? Bhagavan. Bhagavan in the most unlikeliest of faces, in the most unlikeliest of places. It is there because Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvan, we have already seen this. It's all Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan all the way. So these laws are difficult to miss. The law of gravitation, which is why we can conduct classes. Otherwise, what will happen? The teacher will be floating somewhere, the students will be swimming somewhere, and how are we going to have a retreat? How is it possible? But the law of gravitation is utterly predictable. It's not that suddenly on this floor there will be areas where there is no gravitation. We have to walk carefully. No, everywhere it's the same. Not only everywhere here on earth it's the same everywhere, all over the universe. That's why they are able to predict the gravitational force of certain bodies which they cannot even see. Because now everybody is in search of Goldilocks planet. What is the Goldilocks planet? Neither too hot nor too cold. Why? Because we have made a mess of this earth and we would like to find something close by to repair. At least just the ones who are very rich can go there. Or maybe that has some life and that is why there is a fascination for these planets. Many of these planets, they are named. Nobody has seen them. They are all inferred by the electromagnetic force, the gravitational force. You can say you can understand so much. You can understand their mass, how big they are. You can understand if they have a satellite going around them. You can see so many things just by this understanding this one gravitational force. Just amazing. This is Ishvara. This is very evident. There are many, many iterations of Ishvara. The law of botany. This is how the trees behave. This is how the leaves behave. Zoology. That is also the science. Everything. Sociology, how do humans behave in groups? That is also a law. There is Ishvara behind it. And of course, psychology. One's own emotions and the whole gamut of emotions is what? Ishvara alone. Therefore, when I see my own emotions from the standpoint of Bhagavan's law, then they are no longer my emotions. It's not my sadness, it's not my fear, it's not my insecurity. It is a law. Given this background that they will be distrust, it's a law. You can see it. That's why they can have groups. Support groups are possible. Adult children of people given to alcohol. There is a group, and that group is possible because they all are behaving in the same way. They all have the same issues. They all have to overcome certain challenges. This is brilliant. This is Bhagavan. Once I saw a comic, and in the first frame, it was a convention. It said, there was a board, annual convention of adults with normal parents. Totally functional parents. First annual convention. Big hall was there, balloons were there, little water glasses with covering was there, little small flowers were there at the speaker's table, paper was there, pen was there to take down the notes. What was missing? Yeah. No people in the audience, no people in the dais, on the dais also. No people. That means what? Not possible. Not possible. Adult children of parents with no issues. Not possible. Why? It's a law. It's a law that we frequently miss because it is close to me. What is that? It's the law of my own background, the law of karma. Very easy to miss Ishvara in this form. We are able to see the gravitational force, the strong force, the weak force, the electromagnetic force, all these things we can see. These are the building blocks of physics, these are the building blocks of, zoology, biology, all these things we can see. Biochemistry, microbiology, all these things we can see. But the thing that is missed, like the 10th man, is the thing that is closest to us. And there itself is the alienation between myself and Bhagavan. Why? What is the alienation? Who is Bhagavan? Karma phala data, the giver of the results of action. And who am I? Receiver of those aforementioned results of action. This is where the alienation is. This is where resistance is. This is where fear is. So the first way in which we need to know Bhagavan is through these orders. And where are these orders? Populated as the Jagat. Manifest as the Jagat. These orders are manifest, palpable, predictable, studyable, understandable. I have to see that. This is what is meant by Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam in every area, in every branch of knowledge. That Sat shines as Chit. And it is an infinite knowledge, infinitely manifest as this universe. Ever expanding universe. The physicists will tell us it's still an expanding universe. And in this, what is manifest is Ishvara. Manifester is Ishvara. And then who am I? Also Ishvara, but I don't know that. So I think of myself as the one who is subject to all these laws. So the second way of knowing Ishvara is to be able to relax in these laws. Relax in the order that is Bhagavan. Put aside the cudgels. The ninja What are that? Astras and Shastras. Defensive, offensive, always fighting. The jiva is tired like the bird because of its resistance. Always fighting against what is. Every law is Ishvara, therefore we can just say what is Ishvara. Which leads us to the next understanding. It is what it is. Why is it what it is? Why is it what it is? Because it cannot be what it is not. It's a law. Understand that. You cannot set in motion something and then expect a different outcome after the momentum has already taken over. It's a law. Panchadashikara gives a beautiful example. He says, Vyagra buddhya srishtam banam. So the person went to the forest, heard some rustling sound behind the bushes, behind the trees, and got scared, said, tiger, 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 oh my God. Without seeing, in and through the trees, he strung his bow, released an arrow in that direction where that rustling sound was coming up. And then it looked like it hit the target because a moving sound came. If it was a Vyagra, what kind of sound would have come? A roaring sound or a meowing sound should have come. But here, it was clearly a cow. So what did he have in the beginning? Vyagra buddhi. That this is a tiger iti buddhi. He released the arrow from the tiger cognition, and you cannot retract the arrow now that you have cow cognition. Before you had Vyagra buddhi and you released the arrow, now you have what? Correct buddhi, cow buddhi. When you say, oh, I don't want to kill you, let me take it back. No. It will hit the target. It will go and do whatever it is needed to. This is why it's a law. This is why it's a law. It has its momentum. And that is why we say what is Ishvara. If we spell Ishvara in English, what are the first two letters? Is. Yeah. And that is further resolved into what? I. What is Ishvara. Because it is what it is, it cannot be what it is not. But the jiva is not convinced. Let me find the ways to make what is into what it is not. Shubham astu, that's what you have to say. Good luck. Yeah. May you have a good outcome, but knowing full well, this is not possible. Because there's a law. The body is subject to laws. Once the body is in being, what will happen? Old age happens, disease happens, death happens to this body. It's a law. There are no exceptions. Oh, but what about that time when some Bhagavan revived somebody who was dead, whatever? Every rule has an exception. Exceptions do not negate the rule. Exceptions confirm the rule. They do not negate the rule. And so we have to, the first thing is to see that all that is here is Ishvara in the form of studyable, palpable, predictable, infallible laws. And the second way to look at Ishvara is to be in acceptance of these laws. It's easy to be in acceptance of gravity, easier I would say. Still people do all kinds of stunts, but it's easier to be in acceptance of the laws that seem to be outside of this body-mind-sense complex, much harder when the law is discerned within, like the law of karma, very easy to miss. This is where I have to Ishwarize my life. First we Ishwarize everything as laws, and then you have to Ishwarize one's own life as what? As nothing but Ishvara. Karma phala Ishvara. Karma Ishvara. That I am subject to this particular karma phala also is a manifestation of Ishvara. I have to see that. Another manifestation of Ishvara that is easy to miss is the law of dharma. This everybody knows. As you sow, so shall you reap. Don't do unto others what you want them to do unto you. Do not do unto others what you don't want to be done to yourself. This is the golden rule. This is what dharma is. Dharma is Ishvara means what? Dharma is sensed. Dharma is sensed without being taught. All the Bala Vihars, the Sunday schools, etc., they just reinforce what is already there. What is already there. If you tell us, if the mother tells a small child, you cannot have any more candy, goes into the next room. What does the child do? Open the jar, put the hand in the candy, takes a big bunch, so that it cannot even pull its hand out. Mother comes back, 2-year-old child can just say a few sentences, the child will look guilty, even without having a single dharma lesson. And Pujya Swamiji used to illustrate this, how we know dharma without being taught, using a lovely, a lovely analogy, that of the baby monkey. Baby monkey born, and the baby monkey cannot take rest because the mother is not on maternity leave. What does the mother monkey do? Climb, climb, climb from tree to tree. There goes my lunch. The baby monkey knows. There goes my dinner. In fact, there goes all hopes of survival if I let this one go. The mother cat holds on to the kitten, and all the kitten has to do is go like this and be held with its head on one side. Monkey mother says, yeah, you come along if you want. I'm a busy lady. I don't have time for this. The child has to grip the mother. The baby monkey has to hold on to the mother for dear life. And it does that without any lessons, no lessons. All the grandma monkeys did not say, you little ones, you don't know, it's a big bad world out there. Please hold on to your mommies like this. No demonstration. And no baby monkey asking a question. What will happen if I don't hold on? You will fall. What's fall? No such thing. No class, no monkey school, baby monkey school, nothing. Every baby monkey holds on for dear, dear life. Coming up with our phrase, monkey grip. That is the monkey grip, baby monkey's grip. Similarly, dharma is also sensed without being taught. But it is an incarnation of Ishvara we can totally miss if we are not in touch. How can we miss? Why will we miss this which is in our hearts? We will come back and find out in the afternoon. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.